You are my horizon line. You are the end of everywhere I've been. The only home where I can hide when I'm tired of blowing in the wind. Leave a light on so I can see. It's a wild world without you.
Marc Scibilia is an American singer-songwriter currently based in Nashville. His main styles of music are folk, pop, and rock. On November 13, he returns with his new album, which features all new, refreshing songs. For the release of his next album, Seed of Joy, Marc Scibilia offered an exclusive interview at Nouvelle Heure. He talks about his journey and his inspirations and explains how the album's creation went during the first months of the lockdown.
In the street.
My name is Marc Scibilia, and I'm a singer-songwriter. I've been doing this for a decent amount of time. I grew up in Buffalo, New York, and I left my house. I left my family when I was about 18 years old, and yeah, I've just been at this a while, and I've toured all over the world. I've had some really amazing opportunities over the years, and but yeah, I'm just kind of like I'm like a working class artist. I've had moments where things have gone really well, and I've had moments where things have gone really poorly, but I just keep going.
Marc also has a few artists who inspire him in the creation of his music. He also explained how his passion for music was born.
I mean, I really like classic kind of guys like Bob Dylan or Paul Simon, Bruce Springsteen. I really love those guys. Modern inspirations, I love. There's a band called Phosphorescent, I think is amazing. Gosh, I'm drawing a blank right now. I was just listening. Blake Mills is an amazing producer, artist. And then who else? Like Vampire Weekend is always really inspiring to me. So yeah, my family was really musical. My grandfather played bass. He was an orchestra leader, and my dad was a guitar player, a singer, and a songwriter as well. And so it was kind of in our family in a lot of ways. Most of our family, like, they do music. I started taking lessons across the street. There was a little church across the street from our house, and there was a guy that taught piano lessons there. And so I would go over and take lessons from him, and he was pretty cool. He was really encouraging to my songwriting, even when I was young. I was like 6 years old, and for my first recital, instead of playing a song that was a written piece of music already, he let me play my own song. I think it was called A Sunny Day. I'm sure it was very good. Anyways, yeah, so that, I just had a lot of encouraging teachers along the way. But I always knew I would love to play music, and I just loved it, even since I was a little kid. So it's really been a lifelong dream of mine. I wouldn't even say I discovered it. It just kind of almost was born into it.
And they all pretend to be friends with me, but I know by the way they laugh.
The album Seed of Joy turns out to be a musical project from the singer's life experiences.
So leave a light on so I can see. It's a wild world without you, baby. Leave a light on so I can see. It's a wild world without you, baby. Wild world.
I would say, the other one was, the last one I put out was in 2015. And I think, with this record, it's just, much more honest. My father actually passed away in January. And so this record's really about, kind of that moment in time where my daughter was born and my father was terminally ill. Yeah. And so, when you're younger, when you're 20, I don't know how old you are, but it's like, I'm probably, even then I was probably older than you are now, but like, in your mid 20s or whatever, you're, a lot of people, at least probably statistically, you're probably drawing more from experiences of other people than your own difficult experiences. And the older you get, just naturally life just gets more difficult in many ways. And so I think with this new album, like, it's just more of my own personal lived experience. And it wasn't like it was hard work to make, in a sense. Like, it really, a lot of the songs just kind of came to me like really more inspiration and really more kind of medicine for what I was going through with my family and my dad and stuff. And but the challenge was definitely just to be honest and to really put it out there. Because it's always tough to be honest. I don't know. I would have to say I have to get it all out there. I made the album for my dad, and I wanted to honor his life. And I'll probably every album I make from now on, he'll probably be some level of inspiration for it. But the album's really for him, and so I think in some way it kind of reflects who he was, and at least the wild year I had and whatnot. So I think it's really up to people what they want to take from it. I hope it's universal in the sense that people can get their own message and meaning from it.
His new album's creation was very different due to the pandemic, and Marc still found it challenging to be alone.
I think I produced the entire thing by myself. I worked with one guy on 2 songs, but it was just over Zoom and phone calls, and so it was just ideas back and forth. But really, I just couldn't have people come over to my studio or anything like that. And I used to work in the basement. I used to have a basement studio, and so that was really like having that. I really just didn't go anywhere for 3 months. I just made this music. It's not super fun to be by yourself all the time, and I'm really an extrovert. I like to be around people, and so it was difficult to just kind of be working on it totally by myself. I'd be in a windowless basement for 10 hours, and then I would come up and it'd just be like a whole nother world. I hadn't really made a full length record since 2015, and I've made so much music between then and now that like it was much easier to make this album in a lot of ways. Like I just felt like I had acquired so many skills in that time. It's a wild world.
Marc talks about the difficulties that singers encounter at the beginning of their careers.
Yeah, everything's difficult though, you know what I mean? Like life is difficult. A lot of my friends went to college and thought they'd get jobs, and that's difficult because there's, the way the world is changing. Like there's not some of those jobs that they thought would be there. And so I don't really look at what I do. It is pretty difficult in the sense of like, there's not like a particular path, but I think that's what we're learning about the world in the last 6 or 7 months. Some of these paths that we thought existed or are always there, like they're just fabricated, and they can go away. And so I don't particularly look at myself, in any type of heroic, difficult sense. I've had a pretty good run at it. But I don't really do that like as like a move, like a career move. I just happen to do it sometimes. But, as far as for my fans, I would say like, I've gotten a lot of songs in commercials. That's been a really big deal for me. And then, just it's kind of word of mouth, it's like when you like my music and then you tell people you got to check this out. It's a lot of that, honestly. In the streets, and they all pretend to be friends with me, but I know by the way they laugh, they will take me.
Marc also explains the meaning of the title of his album, Seed of Joy.
Yeah, I think the album is really about finding joy, in the middle of difficult situations. A seed has a seed is not immediate. A seed represents something that's coming that's not really there yet. From a seed you can forest an entire continent, but it as it looks in and of itself, there's really not much to look at. And I think when I titled the album, I think that was really it. It was like there was a lot of difficult things going on in my life, and and there really wasn't much to look at. But I think it's like this idea that like from a small, from kind of focusing on these small things in your life that really matter, you can sustain and persevere through difficult times.
Leave a light on so I can see. It's a wild world without you, baby. Leave a light on so I can see. It's a wild world without you, baby. Said leave a light on so I can see. It's a wild world without you, baby. Leave a light on so I can see that it's a wild world without you, baby. Said it's a wild world. Said it's a wild world. I'm coming home. I'm coming home.
It was Guillaume Guay-Morin for La Nouvelle Heure.